Hello, my name's Charis Melina Brown, and this video is on living your bliss career-wise and aligning with your purpose in being here in a way that reflects in your job choices. I'm doing this video for my friend Amanda Flaker, Chakra Center, who asked me to do it for her Wednesday column. And I am an intuitive development consultant for those of you who don't know me. I help people to access their intuition. I also do readings. I also hold Bliss Out retreats where we develop our intuition through vibrational raising blissful activities. And there was really one thing that made the difference when I started being able to do what I love for work. But before I tell you that, I'd like to tell you what it was like before. And I did not always live in alignment with my purpose, with my dharma, I guess you could call it. So I have 2 master's degrees. The first is in health science education with a focus in adapted physical activity, which is like people with disabilities, both congenital and acquired. And the second master's was in transpersonal psychology. I was on my way to getting a doctorate in transpersonal psychology, and I was entering my last year, and I all of a sudden couldn't work on my dissertation. Every time I would sit down to work on it, I would have just about a panic attack. It was awful. So, sorry, there's a little friend on me from the tree that I'm sitting under. Yeah. Anyway, so I sat down to write a list, and on one side of the list I put all the things I wanted out of life, and on the other side of the list I put all of the things that a PhD would get me. And what I discovered was that a PhD was either, at this point, ego-based, fear-based, like my family will love me more if I have a PhD, people will finally think I'm smart if I have a PhD, or I just want one to have the letters behind my name, that kind of thing, or which is outdated. Like I had career aspirations when I started the PhD program that I no longer had. So the list that I thought would reinvigorate me actually ended up getting me to stop the program. And funnily enough, I then began voraciously, well, I don't think voraciously is the right word, maybe passionately, maybe obsessively, writing my first book, Journal of a Starseed, which ended up being published the same week that I would have walked in graduation, which was not planned that way. It was just an amazing synchronicity that I found about after the fact. So that to me was a nice nod from the universe that I was doing the right thing. And now I'm working on my 3rd book. So that's progressed. Books aren't what I do most of the time, though. Most of the time I do work with individuals and groups. And for years after I stopped going to school, which was in 2008, so it hasn't been that long. Oh, no, I'm sorry. That's not right. I stopped going to school in 2010. I got my master's in 2008 in transpersonal psych, and then the program continued. And I was going to graduate in 2010. And I stopped several months before I graduated, I guess. Anyway, in that last year. So before then and after then, up until the past maybe year or so, I've been able to support myself doing what I love to do. I honestly tried to be a muggle and to live a normal life and to not be out with my spirituality and to be in the esoteric closet, kind of. I couldn't find jobs. I had, like I said, a master's in health and a master's in psychology toward the end there, and I had had a master's in health since 2006. And I couldn't find work anywhere. I ended up working as a cocktail waitress, I ended up working as a tutor, and I hated it. And a lot of times I ended up working as an administrative assistant or secretary, which the people I worked for thought I did a great job, but I seriously had small emotional breakdowns every morning going to work. Some people didn't understand this and said, Charis, it's a job. It's just a job. You go do it and then you come home and live your real life. And I understood that cognitively, but I couldn't control it. I just was miserable, and I knew I wasn't doing the right thing, but I didn't know what to do about it. And that went on for years. And I worked as a teacher, loved the kids, hated the job. Lots of missteps. But what was going on was I was building the skills to be able to do what I'm doing now. Because if I hadn't had those experiences, I wouldn't have been able to now do what I do. So that was a piece of it. So don't ever think you're not on your path, because no matter what, you always are. It's just sometimes easier or harder depending on your level of resistance to it. But the thing that allowed me to do what I'm doing now was surrender. And one day I was just sick of it, and I finally said to the universe, and I said this several times, and my life started changing almost instantly. I said, fine, you want to tell me what to do? Tell me. I'm totally in your hands. You do whatever you want. I'm sick of trying. I'm sick of trying this and not being able to figure it out and being miserable. While on one hand I have all this knowledge and stuff I can use, on the other hand I have no idea how to use it, and I hate what I'm doing for work, and I don't know what to do about it, so you figure it out. And I got firm and I put my foot down. Sometimes you gotta do that. I mean, the universal consciousness is big and strong, and you can't make it mad. I wouldn't worry about it. And besides, it knows if you're mad anyway, so you might as well just be honest. So yeah, that was the thing. And now whenever I find a place in my life where I'm stuck, I just do that again, and it almost always resolves within the week, maybe less time. Or if it doesn't resolve, it's because I'm in the middle of an important lesson I need to learn, so I just follow it through. So yeah, that's how to do it. Try it. See what happens. And also, it's really, really important to, even if you're not able to do it for work yet, to live your bliss as much as you possibly can. And not only is that going to align you energetically, it will also help find you the opportunities to end up doing your bliss for work. So don't wait until you can do it full-time to do it, because if that happens, how are you going to get from here to there? Do it part-time, volunteer with it, make sure there's an energetic exchange of some sort, because you don't want to be bleeding out your energy indefinitely either. But yeah, definitely move in that direction. Ask the universe for help, ask for synchronicities. One of the things I love to do is ask for epiphanies, because epiphanies allow for quick growth in a short amount of time. So I both ask for internal epiphanies for myself, and I ask to be at the center of universal epiphanies. Since we're each kind of like a neuron in this brain of the universe, I ask to be in one, so on a larger scale. I hope that makes sense to you guys. It makes sense to me, but sometimes I wonder. Anyway, hope this was helpful. Yeah, it's not an easy road, but the esoteric road is one that once you see it, at least in my experience, once I knew it was there, I couldn't turn back. It was done. I was done. So anyway, go in peace. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.